This week, a group of residents gathered at Grandview Farm to discuss what is becoming a national movement to fight against the influence of big money in politics and the U.S. Supreme Court decision that stated money is a form of free speech.
The gathering tonight is about American Promise. That's a national organization that's working to overturn the Citizens United Supreme Court ruling of 2010. And that was to, the Supreme Court in a 5-4 ruling made corporations equivalent to have the constitutional rights of people, and it also said that money is the same thing as speech. And those two things put together allows corporations to have free speech or free money, and so money is flowing into the political campaigns unfettered and anonymously from large corporations, either domestic or international, and influencing our political system.
Though only a handful of people showed up for the first meeting in town, the goal is to raise awareness, recruit more people interested in the cause, and join locals with the national effort.
So we are starting a Burlington and surrounding town association, so a local association for American Promise, which is doing this all over the country. And in Massachusetts, we're working on the 2018 to get a ballot initiative on the 2018 ballot to have Massachusetts be one of the, currently there are 18 states that have said we're supporting a 28th Amendment, and American Promise is working throughout the country to work on 20 states, Massachusetts being one of them, so that in the 2018 election cycle, we'll try to get 20 states all with that same ballot initiative to tell the Congress that the country is ready for this initiative to overturn Citizens United and go back to the way it was with campaign finance reform.
So what is the proposed 28th Amendment? So far, it's a work in progress, but the goal is clear.
The 28th Amendment, we're working on that. So in parallel, one of the things that American Promise is doing is has a group working on the specific language. But the fundamental details is that corporations would not have the constitutional rights of people. It would go back to a century's worth of campaign finance reform, where the corporations were able to donate money, and individuals were able to donate money to campaigns, political campaigns, but in a restricted and regulated way, so that it wasn't unfettered donations.
Proponents of the 28th Amendment say that the effects of Citizens United have already been felt, and perhaps most poignantly on the local level.
So there's a couple. You can see in the state elections, people from outside coming in, and we have outside of the state money coming in and influencing what locally Massachusetts might want to do from external. There's things like global warming, clean water, any sort of environmental protection, that sort of thing. That money, the money that is influencing the candidates, causes those bills that most people think, why isn't this getting done? Because there's influence in politics.
Larry said there's a lot of interest among Americans to stop the influence of big money in politics, and he believes this movement will continue to grow.
80% of American citizens, whether they're Republicans or independents or Democrats, have been over many years in favor of this. It's the Congress that is actually taking the money and getting the advantage of the extra money that's not in favor, but in many election assessments, the people are 80% in favor of this, and I see that when we go out and we have tables talking to people. It's just everybody runs to this, and it's a very easy thing to get people excited about.
Ben Googas, who's been with the organization from its early days, says American Promise is growing fast and steadily.
I actually joined American Promise right at the beginning. We had a very small staff and continue to have a relatively small staff. We're growing rapidly. So I was one of the first ones to join. This was about 16 months ago. American Promise is a new organization. We've been in official existence since our launch in January of last year. So a lot of what I do is engaging the citizens, what Larry was talking about, the 8 out of 10 Americans that agree with us on this issue, that want this reform to happen. The energy is out there. So a lot of what I do is provide the infrastructure to harness that energy and bring people together so they can enforce the will of the people and have the elected officials listen to them.
Finally, Googas outlined what volunteers and concerned citizens can do to help.
Yeah, lots of things, right? So we'll be calling on our members of Congress, calling on even local and state elected officials to do everything within their power to support this 28th Amendment. You hear a lot of folks that say, oh, Massachusetts, we have all Democratic congressional delegation. We're all good on that. And that's really not the case. What we're hoping to do is to build our congressional delegation up the champion scale. So many supporters, and that's okay, but we want them all to become champions. And that's the whole idea around this effort here in Massachusetts and getting Massachusetts ready to ratify. So we'll be doing media blitzes, writing letters to the editor, writing op-eds, calling our Congress people, and as Larry mentioned as well, the statewide ballot initiative, which we hope to put on the ballot in 2018, which will involve lots of signature gathering and community organizing in places all over Massachusetts.
At Grandview Farm, I'm B News Director Rich Hosford.